Hello guys, welcome back to the Crew Wild Run. A new series, that's what I'm gonna start here with the Abarth 500. The new series is driving all cars. The Abarth 500 comes in a street spec, a performance spec, and it also has a monster spec. It's a small hutch hatch. It is pretty decent in general, and it kinda looks cool, or at least if you put some spoilers and stuff like that. What you see here is the full stock version with pretty much everything original as I always have it, original colors, original rims and stuff like that. Quick look in the interior with well, sort of speedometers that you with the latest patch can hardly see now during the daytime, which is a bit of a problem for some cars. Maybe they will repatch it later on, but we'll see. Quick look around. Let's have a look at the street spec. Bit of a different bumper I put on there, and also some other rims, although all original as well. It also has a performance spec as mentioned before. Also here a bit more aggressive look for the performance one. It does not have a circuit spec, although well, it sorta exists in real life, being the Assetto Corsa variant of this car. And also a monster spec is available for this car in this game, which is not that bad at all. In certain arenas this is probably one of the most used cars, being in the Mountain States arena. Because this one makes, if you do the summit, and it makes the jump to the 5000 points pretty easy, which is way harder to do with the other monster specs. So, well, let's set a waypoint somewhere at the Bonneville Flat, where I'm sorta going to do, and I will do that with all the cars, sorta gonna do an acceleration test. Of course, what I'm driving here now is the full stock version. Can't really tell much about this car going by the full stock, although there are some exceptions there. For instance, the Koenigsegg is, well, not sure what they did there, but the Koenigsegg is the fastest full stock car, and it is actually faster than some other spec, and even than its own spec, I believe. It has a performance spec, if I'm not mistaken. That's not the case here. It is sort of a town car, so it is pretty easy to dodge traffic with this thing. Seeing it is small, but there is a big problem with it. I think you can already see it here, and the faster you go, so the higher the spec, street spec, performance spec, it suffers from understeer, big time. Which makes it a bit of a problem if you're doing street races somewhere in town or anything. Top speed wise, it is pretty good though. As well in street spec, a bit less in performance. It has a good top speed in performance, but there are way faster cars out there. But in street spec it can pretty much keep up with anything on a long straight. as long as there are not any corners around, you're fine with this thing. But when a corner appears, suffering from the understeer, well, a bit of a problem. So you have to brake in advance or brake harder than with other cars. But yeah, sometimes you just have to drive things like this. It's a little funny car. Pretty cool looking, especially if you tune it up a bit. And it is pretty fast. Okay. There are always some idiots around. Seems to be the new thing. Hey, another car on the road. Let's hit him. Had the same yesterday with the summit reward. Top speed of the full suck 204, 205, and the info chart says 205. So pretty accurate for once. Of course, if we get a bit of draft, we're doing 219 now. Sorta, well, not completely at the perimeter, but let's say it can do 220 if you get a slipstream, as I was getting from the Mercedes over there. Meanwhile, arrived at the Bonneville flat, where sort of a track test you can do here. So what I did is I put together a free drive challenge, pretty much a simple one, 1 lane strong, 1 mile. I put 2 checkpoints there, being the quarter mile and the half mile, and I'm going to use a nitro bar at the first checkpoint at the quarter mile point. Let's see, where is it? There is it. Okay. Let's do the quick test here. Sort of an acceleration test. What can it do? How fast is it acceleration wise? Well, nothing to compare since this is the first video in the series, but at least we'll have a time. First checkpoint coming up, so hitting the nitro. As you can see, it easily goes towards 300 kilometers an hour. And it goes way over it. 26.3 seconds. That's for 1.6 kilometers or 1 mile. Okay, I'll make a note of that, and then we can compare later, and maybe even make some sort of a ranking. Now let's do, I also put together some, well, let's say a quick test where you can sort of test how it is top speed wise, how it is corner wise. This is not a time attack or anything, just have a look how the car handles and how fast it is. We're still in the street spec. I will do the same 2 tests with the performance spec later on. Bit of sliding under braking. Sharp right here, as you can see. Sort of have to tap the brakes once or twice to get it back on the road, otherwise it would have gone out of the corner. Because it really is a problem with this car. Understeer. Same here, I guess. Yep. Suffering to control it. So, handling wise, not the best. Barely made that corner. It might be a problem with the performance later on, which is even faster, so pretty strong nitro or nuts, that's for sure. Get a really good boost from it if you press the nitro. Sort of an S combination here. Yep, that's what I kind of figured. Requires a bit of braking to make that corners combination over there. Yep, yeah. That wasn't the idea. The idea was to see how fast it goes here downhill. I already tested this before and it can do 348 kilometers an hour, which is pretty fast for a street spec. So top speed wise, it is more than okay, this car in street spec. So if there is some street racing PvP or whatever with long straights, then this thing might be an option. If you do not want to drive always the OP cars like half of the people doing in this game, but yeah. If it's league PvP I can understand it, but on the other hand, if you can do a private PvP where you do not lose league points with some friends or anything, you can use cars like this. So top speed wise, more than okay. The only problem is understeer, and well, you can anticipate it by braking before the corner, of course, but it will make you lose some ground compared to your opponents if you're in a race or anything. Let's have a look at the performance spec of this thing now. It should be faster, obviously, in the 1 mile drag race that we are doing here. We had a 26.3 for the street spec. See what this one can do. Same situation, hit the nitro at the first checkpoint or at the quarter mile point. Here we go. Pretty strong. Three 23.3. That's well, approximately 3 seconds faster than the street spec, which kind of is normal. Well, I don't know. We'll see when I drive the other cars what the difference is between a street spec or performance spec. Now, of course, it's going to go faster on this run than in the street spec, so I'm anticipating on a bit more problems, especially in the corners. All the cars that you see in the videos, well, except for drag cars maybe and monster specs, but other than that, all cars will have a full speed bonus. Might not be the best setup for every car, but well, it's just the way we do it here. Yeah, okay. That's what I mean with understeer. You brake too late and you go straight ahead, not making the corner. I could have tried and then probably would have hit the rock. Also here I have to tap the brake 1 or 2 taps extra than I would normally do. This combination kinda okay. It sticks a bit better to the road than the street spec. What are we doing? 370 something? 390. It goes on a long straight. It can go over 400 kilometers an hour, which is also here not bad, but it will take a bit before it gets there. Yo, that's something strange. Coming onto the airport of Las Vegas. It seems a flat straight, but somehow we fly up. So in general, small car, so easy to dodge traffic. It suffers from understeer, and it has a pretty good top speed. That's sort of the roundup for these 2 specs, being the street spec and the performance spec, as at this moment is available in the game. Who knows, maybe they later in time come up with the Assetto Corsa circuit spec, but at this point not available. Although no rumors have been going on about that or anything. There are a few new specs coming, but that's like a raid spec from the RUF and things like that. It's a fun car to drive in free drive though. Also cockpit view is not that bad in it, so you can have some fun hanging out in this car. If you're gonna do races with it, then I would suggest go for the street spec. Performance spec is not going to be really competitive. This thing, on the other hand, for this arena in the mountain stage, it's probably the best you can find. Also here, being small is an advantage in this case. Can do backflips here. Even double misses. .360 works as well. And a backflip with a 180 should also not be a problem. Landings on the other hand, well, you have to be careful with that. This one is full speed as well, which is not the case with all my monster specs, but this one is. Some of them I have full acceleration to do scramble tests and stuff like that, but this one is, that's why it is important. Bam! It makes the jump pretty easy on top of that, and if you do summits and stuff like that, that's where the 5000 points marker is in this arena. And this little thing can make that jump pretty easy, which makes it a perfect landing on the 5000, giving you 15,000. And that's, well, let's say a bit more of a problem with the other monster specs. But this one, pretty easy. 720 can easily be done before the landing, even a bit more. And yeah, that's what you get then. If you throw it around a bit too much, then it can start doing stunts on you that you do not expect or do not want to. But for this arena it's a decent car. For the other arenas, well, you can use it, but there are better options there. But it can be used in the mountain states for sure. It's probably the most used by the top players in this arena. Although some are using cars like the Challenger or anything like that, but you will see if you go to this arena and take a look at YouTube, you will see a lot of arenas done with this car. Mountain states, that is, not talking about the other arenas. Then other monster specs come into play. So, drive all cars. That's sort of what we did here, starting this series with. I'm starting to think I'm gonna do them in alphabetically order, so kind of randomly, not like keeping the best for last or anything. Nope, just from A to Z, starting with the Abarth 500. I will see you guys in the next one, and bye for now.